Hi guys, I'm here to recommend a really good book, and it's called Sammy and Juliana in Hollywood by Benjamin Alide Science. And I actually read this book when I was a junior in high school. It was like, I don't know, I read it second semester, the first half of the second semester. So, I don't know. I wanted to read it since my sophomore year of high school because my friend who was a junior had the same teacher that I ended up having, and like he let me read a part of it, and then it just caught my attention. So I recommend it to you guys. So I'm gonna read the back, and I think the first chapter is, I don't know if I'll be able to read the first whole chapter, but I don't know, I just want to read it so you guys, hopefully you guys will get interested enough to start reading it, because it is a really, really good book. I reread it a couple of days ago. I finished it, and so I remembered why I love this book so much. Okay, so in the back it says, The Hollywood where Sammy Santos lives is not one of glitz and glitter, but a barrio at the edge of a small New Mexico town. In the summer before his senior year, Sammy falls in love with the beautiful, independent, and intensely vulnerable Juliana. Sammy's chronicle of his senior year is both a love story and a litany of loss. The tale of his love not only for Juliana but for their friends, a generation from a barrio, tough, innocent, humorous, and determined to survive. And this book has pretty much any element you can think of. It has romance, it has a little bit of tragedy, it has humor, it has anything a good story needs. So, yeah. Okay. So here it is, Sammy and Juliana in Hollywood. Like I said, it doesn't mean Hollywood like California Hollywood. And then there's 5 parts. 5 parts. And part 1 is called The Way She Looked at Me. If you just talk Juliana, you can talk yourself into being alive. Let's not say anything, Sammy. Let's not say anything at all. So it starts off with the introduction, and then it has like quotes that aren't actually in the section, but like it gives you a preview of what's gonna. So yeah, The Way She Looked at Me is the first part, and it's basically when he first meets her. Well, not meets her, but like falls in love with her and stuff. Okay. Chapter 1. I remember her eyes, the gray of a sky about to let loose a storm. I remember the way she placed her finger on her bottom lip when she was lost in thoughts as dark as her eyes. I'd have given anything to live that close to her lips. I used to picture her eyes as I was lying in bed, her eyes and that finger touching her bottom lip. I'd lie there and listen to the radio on my favorite station, KOMA in Oklahoma City. It reached me all the way to where I lived in southern New Mexico, but it could only reach me at night, just at night. I used to wait and hope they'd play that song by Frankie Valli, You're Just Too Good. Even if I was half asleep, if I heard the song, I'd suddenly be awake. I'd hum along and put together a scene, a girl dressed up for me in a dance floor shiny as glass. Even the ice cubes in her drink sparkled in the light. That girl was Juliana, and the whole damned world was mine. I need you, baby. And then, after the song was over, I'd fall asleep, exhausted from trying to keep the two of us together. Being obsessed with Juliana was hard work. The word obsession came into my vocabulary the second I met Juliana. It was the way she looked at me that kept me coming back. Just as I was about to give up on her, just as I was about to tell her, look, screw it all, I don't need to suffer like this, just can't take it. Every time I was about to tell her something like that, she stretched out her arm and made a fist. She tapped her fist with her other hand until I nodded and pried it open. I would set her open palm and she would ask, "Do you see?" And I would nod and say, "I see." "You see everything now, don't you?" "Yes, everything," I say. "You see everything?" "Yes, todo, todo, todo." Now, when I think of her open, outstretched hand, I have to admit I didn't see anything. I see my lips moving. Yes, todo, todo. I wonder why I lied to her. Maybe it wasn't a bad lie. Maybe it was. Maybe there aren't any good lies. I don't know. I still don't know. And I didn't know anything about reading palms either. I've never known anything about that. Not then, not now. One thing I did know, no matter how many times she let me pry her hand open, her fists were still clenched. They'd stay that way forever. Juliana letting me pry open her fist, that was a lie. Maybe it was a good lie. I think it was. I told her once that she collected secrets like some people collected stacks. "You're full of shit. Where do you get that crap? You're so full of shit." "No, I'm not," I said. "Well, everyone needs to collect something." "Collect something else," I said. "Like what?" "Books." "No, I don't like them. That's your thing, Sammy. Did you know everyone calls you the librarian?" She looked at me. I pretended I knew. I didn't, but I pretended. And she let me. "And besides, only gringos can afford books. But secrets don't cost a damn thing." She was wrong about that. Secrets cost plenty. I used to write her notes in class that said, "Stop collecting." "Not yet," she'd write back. "Then tell me one. Just one secret." What did I think she was going to tell me? The first time she told me what she was thinking, I found myself trembling. "I've always wanted to smoke a cigarette." That's what she whispered. I pictured her wearing a backless dress in some smoky bar with a cigarette between her lips, a drink in her hand. I pictured my hand on her bare back. That's what made me tremble. And that song came into my head. You'd be like, I almost offered to buy her a pack, buy her 2 packs, buy her a carton. But I was 16 and could never talk when I needed to. And my pockets were empty. So I just stood there trying to figure out what to do with my hands. I wanted to die. That night, I decided to be a man. I was tired of sitting there like a chair. That was me, Sammy Santos, a chair, sitting there, thinking. As if thinking ever did any good. To hell with everything. After dinner, I walked out of the house, borrowed Paco's bike, and stole 2 cases of Dr. Pepper bottles from Mrs. Franco. She had a nice house. She didn't live in Hollywood. She didn't need the bottles. I cashed them in at the Pickwick on Solano and bought my first pack of cigarettes. My dad wanted to know where I was. "Just taking a walk," I said. Dad's smile almost broke me. "You're like your mom," he said. She'd walk and think, "You take after her." He looked so happy. If you can be happy and sad at the same time. That's what he looked like when he talked about her. I hated to lie to him. But I couldn't tell him I was stealing Dr. Pepper bottles from Mrs. Franco. I couldn't. He thought I was some kind of altar boy. He never went a week without telling me I was good. Good? What's that? Sometimes I wanted to yell, "You don't know, Dad, you don't know these things." I wanted to yell that. It would have broken his heart. Later in bed, I held the red pack of Marlboros and studied it like I was going to be tested on what it looked like. I smelled the cigarettes through the cellophane, and it was then that I fell in love with the smell of tobacco. The next day, during lunch, I offered Juliana the pack of cigarettes. She stared at my hand, that trembling hand of mine, holding out the pack of cigarettes. She took them, real casual, but there was something in her eyes, something. She put them in her purse, then she stared into my palm. "You work." It was true. I got up at 4 to clean seedy bars for Speed Sweep janitor service. "We can sweep anything you own." That was our motto. Every day from 4:30 to 7 I worked. Worked, came home, showered, then fixed breakfast for me and my sister. Everyone works, I said. And so I'm going to stop there just because, yeah. So hopefully you guys are interested in reading it. Because like I said, and that's my guinea pigs telling me to stop. So hopefully you guys want to read it, and I'll talk to you guys later.